you're a sax player. Do you play other instruments? Like, how do you sit down and write?
It I play on the other instruments. So, for example, on Hereditary, I played everything, and I tend to play most of the instruments on my scores, with the exception of, so for something like Color Out of Space, I did all of the instruments on that except for the strings, and so I've been
Yeah, makes sense.
hugely fortunate to have an ongoing friendship and professional collaboration with my old friend Matt Holmes, who is an amazing violinist who also plays viola, cello, upright bass, mandolin, guitar. And we were roommates in music school together. We've known each other for 30 years. And when it came time to do Color Out of Space, I reached out to him and him alone and just said, here, I've got this thing. It's going to be heavy strings. But I also work in a pretty, I want to work in a very direct way and be able to write in some maybe less conventional ways. And so I immediately just started. So the way that Matt and I have done this now for several years and on many projects is that I can write, conventionally with MIDI, with keyboard, and I can send him things like that. And of course he can listen to those parts and play them as they are. I can also write with my voice, which I do a lot of the time, where I will sing parts so that they can be a little bit more in line with how it is that I would express that part of my melodic persona. But also they can be quite non-intervallic, and they can be, so the parts can be quite aqueous, and the counterpoint can be very serpentine. And Matt is one of those brilliant ear players that can clone every part of that I send him precisely. And so I send him 5 parts of syrupy vocals, and he sends me back 40, like a full orchestra that is completely cloned to that, down to the microtone. And so we've had an amazing relationship in terms of that for years. And he remains one of the only people that I work with on a regular basis. Although for the menu, so the menu was all me, Matt on all the strings. Well, most of the strings. There's a couple of strings. The uglier strings are when you hear something that sounds really crass and disgusting. It's me. And then on some of the less obvious, more subtle percussion, there, Greg Fox, dear friend Greg Fox, is in there on the menu as well, especially in the very, very end. So when you see it, there's a whole build up at the end. There's a twinkling, sort of pointillistic sheen that happens and gradually grows with the whole of it. And that's all Greg playing, basically like blast beats on water glasses. Nice. And then during the credits, he's finally able to, I think he's shredding on like a China cymbal alone in that last track during the credits. So